A couple of weeks ago, I made the mistake of lingering on an Instagram ad for more than 2 seconds, which then meant that my feed on every platform was filled with ads for that same type of product, which in this case happened to be for those small screens that can attach to your phone. And this is actually the one that I ended up getting, which is the small rig one. These are available from a bunch of different brands. The original ad I saw actually wasn't even for the small rig one, but when I was looking into them, I don't know, I have a lot of video production gear, and Small Rig is a company that I have gear from, and theirs was actually the cheapest. So a lot of these are in the like $70 to $100 price range, and this one was $65. If you don't know what these are, they're pretty neat. They're little wireless monitors, and they pair to your phone wirelessly. And then a lot of them have magnets. So if you have, actually, I don't think it'll work with the case that I have my phone in right now in this case. What they do is if you have a phone that has magnets on the back, it will stick to the back of your phone. And then if you're using the rear facing camera, you now have a display so you can monitor yourself. But obviously they don't have to be on the phone. They can be anywhere and you can see what your phone is seeing. I'm someone like many people who, when I film with my phone, I like to use the rear camera because it is higher quality than the front facing camera. But especially if you're filming yourself, or sometimes if you're trying to set the phone up in situations where you like can't see the display, being able to monitor it wirelessly is kind of cool. I sometimes do that on my watch, but it's not always super convenient. It doesn't always work super well. So being able to just do something like this, actually pretty cool. In this case, I actually don't think that the small rig one is the smallest available one, but I do like the build quality of it. It does have a metal quarter 20 mount down here, which is cool. And you got some other little controls that charges with USB-C. And at the time that I bought it, obviously these things change pretty often, but it was only $65. So that's pretty cool. And what I didn't expect, I was just getting this, it actually came with a bunch of stuff that's like kind of useful, especially if you make stuff with phones. It came with this little tiny tripod, and it came with a phone mount thing, which actually needed a nicer one of these, so that was very handy. And it came with a little remote control. You do have your brightness controls on the bottom along with your charger there and your power button. And at full brightness, it says that this will last for about 2 hours, which is, you know, more than enough, I guess, unless you're gonna use it a lot throughout the day. The little tiny remote that comes with it is actually kind of funny and maybe even useful for other things. This just pairs to your phone via Bluetooth. And then basically what it does, so I have my phone sitting here. If I push this big button on the top, now my phone is gonna start recording. And if I push that button again, it will stop. But if it's recording and I push the bottom button, even though it says Android and I'm using an iPhone, it will also stop recording. So the reason that works that way is, at least with iPhones, the way that this is paired is the big button is volume up and the little button is volume down. And on iPhones, maybe Androids too, I'm not sure, the volume up button is your camera like shutter button, start, stop, and then volume down could be stop recording. So that's how you use this to operate the camera. But if you want to use it for other things, you can just pair this to your phone and then you can control your volume remotely if you want to. Even if you're just like watching a YouTube video or playing some music or whatever, you can just use this to control your volume because it's just a Bluetooth volume up and down control that sometimes, if you're in the camera app, will then also work as a shutter control. I just wanted the monitor. I do like the little tripod because it just has the thing that you can screw in here. You can make it go vertical or horizontal, and it just has a lever there to kind of do, you know, one-handed operation. And this magnet is incredibly strong. So when this sticks on here, like, even if it's not on this tripod, if it's on something else, this monitor, like, look. Oh my God. I can't get it off. There we go. God dang, that's such a crazy strong. So that's kind of cool. I didn't know it came with any of this stuff. Thought it just came with this. So the way that it works, if I power it on, and I think a lot of these work pretty much the same, is it's going to bring up a screen that has a QR code on it. It does have like Wi-Fi that you can connect to, but if I take my phone and I just scan the QR code, and then you can basically just select it as a screen mirroring option in your phone. It shows up as small rig monitor, and now you can see what's on my phone is on the monitor. It ends up feeling like, especially if I just go to the home screen, it looks like I have an old iPhone 4 running like modern iOS. It's not touchscreen or anything though, so I can't do anything here, which is also kind of nice because that means I can't do anything here. I'm not gonna mess anything up. But now I can just monitor whatever my phone is doing right here from this little monitor. So obviously then the intended purpose is now I can record using the rear camera and I can see what my framing is like over here. I will say I have noticed that when I press record, see now I'm stopping recording on here. when my phone is recording and transmitting video, it's quite laggy. When I'm just monitoring the video, there's not really any lag. So to kind of show you what I mean, right here, you can sort of see I'm not recording, and the latency, the lag is pretty good. Like, this is normal, especially for wireless video. There's gonna be a little latency, but it's pretty smooth, it looks good. Once I hit record, it's gonna start off looking pretty good. And then as I go through and the camera goes out of focus, now it's going to get more and more laggy, and you can kind of see like it's lagging a lot. So I can still see how things are generally framed through the monitor, but I'm not getting like crazy real time, you know, like look at my hand moving here, stopping. That's a lot. That's like a lot of lag, right? Like that's like 5 seconds of lag, maybe even more. And then as soon as I stop recording, now it's back to almost real time. So I haven't used, I was gonna do a whole thing where I bought a bunch of these and compared them all. I don't know. My expectations are that actually the SmallRig one, as a company that, you know, makes camera gear and monitors, is probably one of the better performing ones. It was one of the better reviewed ones. The reviews were pretty much all of them mentioned latency and lag. So just keep in mind, if you're using these, I think generally they're meant to be used for, you know, just sort of like a framing guide and less of like absolute real time all the time. Even though that would be cool, you can kind of just at least get an idea of like, okay, the camera's still recording, I'm still in the shot. If you have your camera set up somewhere, your phone set up somewhere, you know, either where it's far away or where it's one of those things, like sometimes you try to get like, you know, a weird low angle shot and you can't see the screen. Now you can use this just to make sure your framing is good before you hit record, even if you don't need to monitor it all the time. So, you know, these aren't perfect. I think if you buy one, you're probably gonna like run into limitations, you know, fairly quickly. The other thing to be aware of is that since it is connected over Wi-Fi, at least this one does, that means my phone is no longer getting like Wi-Fi internet. So I'm using my phone's, you know, wireless network, like zero reception where I'm at. So that's not super helpful. Something to keep in mind if you're using this, like say while you want to do a live stream or something like that. Very important to make sure that you have good cellular service before ditching your Wi-Fi to connect to this. Maybe there's a way around that a smarter person than I could figure out. I definitely don't regret the purchase at all. It's been a handy, useful thing. I think these have been around for a while, but it was only recently that the algorithm decided to bless me with an unrelenting amount of ads for these things. There's not much more to it than that. This is just one of those things that I thought was kind of interesting and I thought other people might be interested in, or if you're like me and you've seen ads for these things pop up and you're like, do those actually work? The answer is, yeah, they work pretty good. Definitely some limitations, but for the price, especially if you film with your phone a lot and you want to take advantage of the higher quality rear cameras, these do end up working quite well. And it is pretty crazy how good phone cameras have gotten. This is an iPhone 14, so it's several years old at this point. I should be absolutely ashamed that I'm still using it. Ugh. But a thing that I noticed when I was working on a video, actually it was a video for my Canon XL1 a while ago, was that it was around 2009 with the iPhone 3G that phone cameras started rivaling and exceeding the quality of cameras like this. And then I was very curious, when did phone cameras catch up to the general quality of real cameras, especially as we moved into 1080 and 4K? All that to say, I worked really hard on this video comparing every like generation of phone camera to cool generations of video cameras. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever made. Hardly anybody watched it, so I'm recommending you go watch that video right now, especially if you're someone who's at all interested in phone cameras and their capabilities, or you just like cameras in general.